Good morning, students. Today's lecture topic is on mandibular nerve and muscles of mastication. So the objectives of today's lecture is at the end of session, students should know boundaries of infratemporal fossa, muscles of mastication, mandibular nerve with its cores and branches. So where is infratemporal fossa? It is situated below the middle cranial fossa of the skull. It is bounded anteriorly by the posterior surface of body of maxilla. Here you can see this is a infratemporal fossa, this area. So it is bounded by posterior surface of body of maxilla, posteriorly by the styloid process of temporal bone and the carotid sheath, laterally by the ramus of mandible here with its coronoid process, medially by the lateral pterygoid plate. Roof of the infratemporal fossa is formed by the infratemporal surface of the greater wing of sphenoid bone. So here is the roof and floor is open, which is continuous with the tissue spaces along pharynx and esophagus. So basically in this region lies your infratemporal fossa. These are the boundaries. So you can see this is a complete skull, cut open skull, where you can see these parts. This is also a model showing the walls of infratemporal fossa. Roof, floor is open. On the skull base part, you can see this is the region of infratemporal fossa. Same area is exposed. So from here, the infratemporal fossa will communicate to the anterior part. Here through the pterygomaxillary fissure, it will communicate with the pterygopalatine fossa. Upward, the infratemporal fossa will communicate with the temporal fossa. The content of this fossa is inferior part of temporalis muscle, lateral and medial pterygoid muscle, maxillary artery, its branches, pterygoid venous plexus, mandibular nerve and its branches, chorda tympani nerve, otic ganglion and its connection. So in today's lecture, we are only going to see the muscles of mastication and the mandibular nerve in detail. First, we'll see the muscles of mastication. All these muscles of mastication, they will move the mandible during mastication and speech. These are developed from the mesoderm of first brachial arch and they are supplied by the mandibular nerve. Total, there are 4 muscles of mastication, that is temporalis, masseter, medial pterygoid and lateral pterygoid. We will see one by one with its origin, insertion, nerve supply and action. First, we will see the temporalis muscle. So the big fan-shaped muscle, you can see this is a temporalis muscle. Now this muscle arises from temporal fossa along with the temporal fascia. Now this fascia is attached along with the temporal lines, superior and inferior temporal lines, and from the floor of temporal fossa takes the origin temporalis muscle. All the fibers, they will run directed downwards towards the zygomatic arch, and after coming down they will get inserted on the surface of the coronoid process of the mandible. So all fibers will converge here and they are inserted on the coronoid process of mandible. This muscle is supplied by deep temporal branches of mandibular nerve. The action of this muscle is it will elevate the mandible. The posterior fibers will help in the retraction of mandible and the muscles of both sides help in a side-to-side movement of a mouth. Next muscle is lateral and medial pterygoid muscle. So here you can see the lateral pterygoid muscle and here it is a medial pterygoid muscle. The lateral pterygoid muscle arises by two heads, upper and lower, and medial pterygoid also arises by two heads, superficial and deep. First, we'll see the lateral pterygoid muscle. So here you can make out there are two heads, upper and a lower head. So upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle will arise from the infratemporal crest of the greater wing of sphenoid bone, and the lower head will arise from the lateral surface of the lateral pterygoid plate. Both the fibers, they will run backward and laterally, and they go towards insertion on the pterygoid fovea of the anterior surface of neck of mandible. So here is a cut open mandible. So here you can see both the fibers, they are going and inserting on the pterygoid fovea on the anterior surface of neck of mandible. Nerve supply is by anterior division of mandibular nerve, and it helps in opening of the mouth. So it causes depression of mandible. This is the only muscle which is causing depression. Rest of the muscles, they are causing closing, that is elevation of the mandible. So very important muscle responsible for the depression or opening of the mouth. Also for the protrusion of mouth. Both medial and lateral, both muscles are helping in protrusion and also in a side to side chewing movement. They are helping in side to side chewing movement. Relation of this muscle. Superficially, there is masseter, ramus of mandible, tendon of temporalis, and maxillary artery. Deep to this muscle present is mandibular nerve and branches, chorda tympani nerve, middle meningeal artery, sphenomandibular ligament, and deep part of medial pterygoid muscle. Near the upper border, the structures which are coming out is deep temporal nerve and a masseteric nerve. So near the upper border, you can see deep temporal nerve, artery, and a masseteric nerve. Near the lower border of the muscle, you can see the lingual nerve, inferior alveolar nerve, inferior alveolar artery, middle meningeal artery, and the sphenomandibular ligament. So all these structures, they are related with the lateral pterygoid muscle at the lower border, at the upper border, on the superficial, and on the deep surface. Between the two heads of this muscle, there passes important structures, that is maxillary artery enters through this gap, and buccal branch of mandibular nerve comes out through this gap. So if you see, so the maxillary artery is entering and going towards the pterygomaxillary fissure, and the buccal nerve is coming out through this gap between the upper and lower head of lateral pterygoid muscle. Next is the medial pterygoid muscle. Now this medial pterygoid muscle also has two heads, superficial and a deep head. The superficial head comes from the maxillary tuberosity, and deep head comes from the medial surface of the lateral pterygoid plate and the adjoining part of the palatine bone. So the deep and the superficial head, both heads, they come like this. Then they pass downwards and laterally. Here you can make out, though both the heads, they are the fibers of superficial and deep heads are passing downwards laterally. They go and insert on a rough area on the medial surface of the angle and the adjoining ramus of the mandible. So this part is known as the angle of mandible. So in this area, both the fibers on the medial aspect of ramus, they are inserted. Nerve supply is branch from the trunk of mandibular nerve. Action is elevation of mandible, protrusion of mandible, and side to side chewing movement. So remember, both the pterygoid muscles have same action, only lateral pterygoid causes opening and medial pterygoid causes closing of the mandible. Relations To the lateral surface, there is a ramus of mandible, which is separated by lateral pterygoid muscle, sphenomandibular ligament, maxillary artery, inferior alveolar nerve, and vessels, lingual nerve, and a parotid gland. Medial surface is related with tensor villi palatini muscle, superior constrictor muscle, and styloglossus and stylopharyngeus muscle. So here you can see medial and a lateral pterygoid muscle, how they are originating and going. So lateral is going laterally and medial is going towards the medial surface of the mandible. Then the next muscle is masseter muscle. This big muscle on the lateral surface of mandible. This muscle, it takes origin by 3 layers. The superficial layer comes from the anterior 2/3 of the lower border of the zygomatic arch. Okay, comes from the arch. Middle layers also come from the lower border of the posterior 1/3 of zygomatic arch. So superficial comes from the anterior 2/3 and middle comes from the lower border posterior 1/3. Deep layer comes from the deep surface of the zygomatic arch. So there are 3 layers, superficial, middle and deep layer of the zygomatic arch. Now all these fibers, they pass downwards and backwards and they go on insert on the lateral surface of the ramus of mandible. So at different region, but you can just say the insertion is on the lateral surface of ramus of mandible. The nerve supply is from masseteric nerve, which is branched from the anterior division of mandibular nerve. It elevates the mandible to close the mouth to bite, and its superficial fibers they cause protrusion. So that was about the 4 muscles of mastication, that is temporalis, masseter, medial and lateral pterygoid. Next is the mandibular nerve. So mandibular nerve is the one of the branches from the trigeminal ganglion. 3 branches arise from the trigeminal ganglion, that is maxillary nerve, ophthalmic nerve, ophthalmic, maxillary, and third is the mandibular nerve. So there are 3 branches of this. Mandibular nerve is also a very important nerve. Now this mandibular nerve, it is a mixed kind of nerve having both sensory and motor fibers. So you can see in this picture, it scores and the branches, various branches. So you'll just see one by one. So it arises as a mixed nerve, mixed branch of trigeminal nerve in the middle cranial fossa. This nerve is the nerve of first brachial arch. So it will also supply the muscles and the parts which are derived from first brachial arch. It immediately receives the motor root of trigeminal nerve. It leaves the cranium through foramen ovale into the infratemporal fossa, and 2 ganglion are associated with, that is otic and submandibular. This diagram is showing the course of that nerve. So you can see the trigeminal ganglion giving out 3 branches. This is a mandibular nerve which is coming out through foramen ovale. So through cranium, it leaves the cranium through foramen ovale, where it gives out first 2 branches, nervus spinosum and the nerve to medial pterygoid. After that, it will form a main trunk. The main trunk will divide into 2 divisions, anterior and posterior, which will further give out the branches. So same is written, mixed nerve which begins in middle cranial fossa through large sensory and small motor root. The sensory root arises from lateral part of trigeminal ganglion and it leaves through the foramen ovale. Motor root lies deep to the trigeminal ganglion and to the sensory root and passes through the foramen ovale again. This forms the main trunk in the infratemporal fossa on tensor villi palatini, deep to lateral pterygoid muscle. And after a short course, it will divide into small anterior and large posterior trunk. The branches which are arising from mandibular nerve are very important. It is also asked in the Viva. And mandibular nerve itself is a long question. So you can thoroughly prepare this. The branches which are arising from the trunk are spinous nerve, that is nervus spinosum or meningeal branch, and nerve to medial pterygoid. Then it divides into two divisions, anterior and posterior. From anterior division, the branches are buccal nerve, which is a sensory branch, masseteric nerve, deep temporal nerve, and nerve to lateral pterygoid. From the posterior branches, posterior part, branches are auriculotemporal nerve, lingual nerve, inferior alveolar nerve. So these are the branches arising from the mandibular nerve. We'll see one by one. First is the nervus spinosum branch or the meningeal branch. It passes through the foramen spinosum and then it enters the cranial cavity. It is the sensory nerve which innervates the dura mater, supplies the dura mater. Then we have the medial pterygoid nerve. Now, medial pterygoid nerve will innervate the medial pterygoid muscle, tensor villa palatini muscle, and the tensor tympani muscle. There is the buccal nerve, masseteric nerve, deep temporal nerve, and lateral pterygoid nerve. Now, all these nerves, they are supplying their respective muscles, except the buccal nerve, which is a sensory supply to the oral cavity. So, it innervates the inner surface of the cheek. Then comes the auriculotemporal nerve. Auriculotemporal nerve supplies the sensory fibers to the auricle and temporal region. It also sends auricular fibers to temporomandibular joint, and it conveys the postsynaptic parasympathetic fibers to the otic ganglion to the parotid gland. The inferior alveolar nerve, it enters the mandibular foramina and it passes through the mandibular canal where it forms the inferior dental plexus. All these plexus will give branches to all mandibular teeth. Also, it gives the mylohyoid branch, which has a motor fibers and it supplies the mylohyoid muscle. The terminal branch of the inferior alveolar nerve is the mental nerve, which passes through the mental foramina. One of the important nerve is lingual nerve, which gives, it is a thick nerve. When you see in the dissection, you will see a quite thick nerve, which is sensory supply to the anterior two-third of the tongue and the floor of the mouth, and also to lingual gingivae. So here it is supplying this area. Then one more nerve accompanies mandibular nerve, that is the chorda tympani nerve. Now this is the nerve coming from the seventh cranial nerve, the branch from the seventh cranial nerve, which carries the test fibers from the anterior two-third of tongue. It joins the lingual nerve in the infratemporal fossa, and it also carries secretomotor fibers for the submandibular and sublingual salivary gland. So here you can see a small chorda tympani nerve is coming from the seventh cranial nerve and it is joining the lingual nerve for the test fibers. Then one important ganglion is related with the mandibular nerve, that is the otic ganglion. Otic ganglion is a peripheral parasympathetic ganglion. It is topographically related to mandibular nerve, but functionally it is a part of glossopharyngeal nerve. The ganglion is around 2 to 3 millimeter in size, which is located in the infratemporal fossa, just inferior to foramen ovale. Now here presynaptic parasympathetic fibers derived from glossopharyngeal nerve synapse in the otic ganglion, and postsynaptic fibers which are secretory to the parotid gland, they pass from the otic ganglion to this gland through the auriculotemporal nerve. So remember this location is just inferior to foramen ovale and the fibers are through the glossopharyngeal nerve and through the auriculotemporal nerve. Now it has three routes. Parasympathetic route is via lesser petrosal nerve. Sympathetic route is through the plexus around middle meningeal artery, which is vasomotor in function. And sensory route is through auriculotemporal nerve, which is sensory to parotid gland. Now this flow chart is showing the route for the secretomotor pathway of parotid. So the preganglionic fibers, they arise from inferior salivary nucleus, which goes towards the ninth nerve, that is the glossopharyngeal. From there passes the tympanic branch, then tympanic plexus, and they will go to the lesser petrosal nerve. Now this lesser petrosal nerve will connect to the otic ganglion, and from the otic ganglion, they will go to postganglionic fibers, which will join the auriculotemporal nerve, and then they will supply the parotid gland. So this diagram, you can see this is a otic ganglion. So through the glossopharyngeal nerve, we are getting the tympanic plexus, which are also relying here. The postganglionic fibers, they are passing and they are going towards through the auriculotemporal nerve, they are going towards the parotid gland. So they supply here on the parotid gland. Other fibers through this ganglion is, one is nerve to medial pterygoid, which gives motor route to ganglion, and it supplies tensa villa palatini and tensa tympani muscle. So chorda tympani nerve, which is connected to otic ganglion and to nerve of pterygoid canal, and it provides the alternate pathway of taste from the anterior two-third of the tongue. So what you are going to remember first is the mandibular nerve, which is a branch from trigeminal ganglion, and where it comes out through is through foramen ovale. So it gives two branches from trunk, then divides into anterior and posterior division, which will again give out branches. Now these branches will supply to respective areas according to their names and locations. And this nerve is also related with otic ganglion, which supplies secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland. So this is in short about the mandibular nerve. So what we have discussed today is about the infratemporal fossa, its boundaries, location, muscles of mastication. Four muscles we have seen: temporalis, masseter, medial pterygoid and lateral pterygoid. You should know the origin, insertion, nerve supply and action of these muscles. Mandibular nerve and along with its branches and otic ganglia. Applied anatomy, the part on the skull, pterion, you all must be knowing, where four sutures are meeting. So in this area, actually it is on temporal fossa, but the middle meningeal artery, which is the branch of maxillary artery. Maxillary artery lies in a infratemporal fossa. It may get rupture over there and extradural hemorrhage occurs, and that may affect the cerebral area, motor area of the cerebrum. Then inferior alveolar nerve block is given around the mandibular foramina in case of dental procedures or surgeries to block the further pain. Lingual nerve lies medial to the third molar tooth. So during extraction of third molar, care should be taken so not to damage this nerve. Then refer pain occurs in CA tongue. It will radiate to the ear and temporal fossa along the distribution of auriculotemporal nerve. As lingual nerve and auriculotemporal, both are the branches of the mandibular nerve. So there are many applied aspects with respect to mandibular nerve and muscles. I have only covered few. In exam, you can also write other aspects of applied anatomy. So that was all about the muscles of mastication and mandibular nerve. Thank you.